This conference will now be recorded.
So in the previous class, that is yesterday, we discussed about the cloud computing. There we also talked about the EC2 uh, as an introductory session and how to launch the EC2 machine. While doing that, we also talk about few of the EC2 advanced uh, things that in advanced section that what are the parameters we can choose. So those things we discussed. And that's how we launch this particular machine, which is a web app. So right now I don't require that one, so probably I'll just say terminate this machine. So this is a machine which we have launched yesterday, and then we discussed about the AWS CLI tool. AWS CLI tool is the it is what it is, a AWS CDK SDK tool with the help of which we can access the things which is there on the AWS account. So right now you can see that this is my laptop, and from laptop I just want to access the things through the CMD, that is the CLI way. Okay, so whenever you logged into the browser and here when you check the things on the browser, so this is a different way to access the things. Okay, like with this way you you are like here you can click to check the instances, then whichever the service you wish to access, you can search and you can just go to that particular service. So that's the way you handle the AWS console thing. Okay. Now, when it comes to handling the same things via CLI, yes, everything that we can handle it via CLI as well. So for that, we have to use the different commands. Now, before going and talking about the commands, let me first of all grab your attention on the how we have done this authentication. Okay, so in this case I talked about something called as the IAM service we have. So let's understand that how to use this IAM service in first place. Okay, so here in this case you guys can see that in my case I do have some of the access key and something which is there, but let me tell you the way that how you can configure the access key and the secret key, right? So you can open the IAM service, and this is the IAM service, which is a identity access management. Okay, so this is the full form of the IAM services, and if I check this particular service, so we have this is a dashboard, and here you should be able to see that how many users you have. So right now I do have the 5 users, how many roles I have, policies, one identity provider. Okay, so these are the basic things I do have. And whenever we have to create like anything related to your user or providing the access to user or something related to the permissions, so in all those cases you have to look for the service which is the IAM service. And here you can click on the user section, and these many users I do have created over a period of time. And in fact you can see that last activity happened on which day. So let's say you configure the users, and 50 users you are not utilizing at all. Okay, that user have never been used since a very long time. So those users you can just check it out, what is the last activity when it happened. So accordingly, let's say if the organization has a policy that those users who what you are not utilizing, okay, those should get removed. So let's say here you see something like a user you have created which is not been used like a 365 days. So you can choose those users, and you can simply delete. Okay, so that's also you can do it. Now in my case I'm just deleting one of the user, and we'll recreate it. Okay, like this particular user we'll recreate, and we will understand that how to create a user first of all. Okay, so here we have that option to create user. So let's create one user, and with that user credentials from my laptop I'm going to access this thing. Okay, so let's say I'll click on the create user, and it's asking me to provide username. So let me provide Amol as name. And next thing here we have an option that whether you guys wish to provide that particular user to access the AWS console or not. Okay. Now this particular option is what this is basically. You see here that the console right now. Now this console is what it is also can be accessed by one IAM user. Right now I'm logged in with the root user. Okay, guys. Please note that in the when we are working in the organization, so we never use the root credentials. Okay. Today I logged in with what? Today I logged in with the root credentials like the email ID and then password. So that's not the correct way you guys will be using during your the all real time things. Okay. So here instead of using root credential, you're supposed to use the IAM user all the time. And how you can create that one? So you simply give the username whichever you wished. Then you have the next thing as the provide user access. So you just need to tick mark this one. Okay. So if you tick this one, what does it mean? So you're gonna allow this particular user to log in via browser also. Okay. So when we are creating the user, so we have two options. One is that you can create a normal user which can be used with the CLI commands only. Or second option, if you tick this one, that means that the same user should be able to access via the console also. Okay, so I'll just show you both. Okay, I'll show you both. So here I'm just like tick marking this one. Then here I'll click on I want to create a IAM user. Now next thing, whenever that user is going to log in, okay, so he will require some password. So either you just say auto generated password, or you can just select the custom password. Now, auto-generated password is basically that AWS will create some random password for you, and once the user creation is done, so there AWS is going to display like this is what your password with which you can log in. So let me set up some custom password by myself. Okay, so I'm setting up some custom password, and I have provided one custom password. And there one more option we can provide that whenever the new user, let's say somebody junior has joined to the organization, I'm creating the user for himself. So I've done set up the password, and now whenever he log in, so he should be changing the password. Like as soon as he put this password, okay, he is going to set up the new password for himself. Okay, so that's one he can also do. So here you can just stick this one. If you want that user should be changing the password next time as soon as you log in. So let's not do that one. Okay, let's keep this thing simple. I'm just not taking this one. So user don't have to set a password. Whatever the user, like here we have kept a password. So with that username, with that password, the user should be able to log in. Fine. I'll say next. Then further here, uh, you have to set the permissions. Now that user which you are creating, what are the permission that user should have? Okay, and you can choose what are the permission that user should have. So if you already have any of the group created, okay, if you already have the group created, so you can add that people. So let's say you have a team, okay, like a developer or something like a team you have, and for those permissions is already decided, right? So in that case you can simply add that user to group. Okay, like you can create a group and then you can handle the permission on a group as well. Okay, that's one option you have. Or if you already have any user, you just want to copy that permissions from that user. So these are the users you have. So you can just copy any of the user's permission, and that's how also you can create a user. Or you can separately attach the permission to that user, like which are the permissions from the scratch also you can do it. So let's do it from the scratch that which are the permission we would like to attach to your user. So in our case, let's say we are creating some generic engineer the uh, access. So in that case, I might would like to just provide the S3 bucket permission or something like that. So whichever the permissions here I'm providing, only that access that user will get. Okay. So let's say here I'm saying that S3 full access that user should have. Basically, S3 is one bucket we have. So S3 bucket we are providing, or let's say EC2 is one more permission that I would like to give. Okay, So I'm just providing these two permission. One is that EC full access, EC2 full access, and one is the S3 bucket access. So these two permissions I'm providing. So this user, whichever the user I'm going to create, that user will have the EC2 and S3 bucket access. And let's suppose you just wish to create some generic user, okay, that should have all the permission and access. So in that case, you can provide the administrator access, okay. So administrator is like almost equivalent to like a root user access, but be careful about this access, like that user really wants to these many access. So just be careful about that. Now, usually what happened that let's say somebody is joining as a DevOps engineer. So probably yes, those all people required the administrator access. Okay, but let's say somebody is a developer. Okay, now we should not provide the too much access of to the developer. So just restrict the permission as per that. Fine. Next thing is here we I'll just click on next here. So we have provided two permission here, EC2 full access and S3 full access. And finally, I'll say create user. And we are done with the creating the user. Okay, we are done with the creating user. And now what you guys gonna do is basically here you get the option that is the email sign in instructions. So whoever that user is, okay, whoever that user is, so that user should be able to uh, you know do the things like he should get receive this credential, like whatever the username and password, whatever you have set up to him, he should get that all the instructions on how you can get. Either you can just email him. Okay, now in office laptop what happens that we have something the Outlook configured for the laptop. So you just click here and the whole mail will comes with in a written format with every instruction, like this is going to be URL, username and password, and you just have to put the mail ID to that user, and that's how you'll be sharing these credentials with him. Okay, now in my case I don't have like that setup. Basically I don't have the Outlook configured here. So I might just copy these things by myself, and I can share it via the other way like Slack or any other way, Teams, or I can just email by the Gmail, right? So these are the options that I'm going to follow. Okay, so that's how we have created a here user, and that user have the two permission. And let me show you that how that user can log in. Okay, so you see here, so this is with this details he should be able to log in. So if I open here I'm going to open the new window, incognito mode, and with this URL and username and password he should be able to log in. Okay, so let me take this URL and put it in the browser. So just press enter. And here you can see that there's something the account like sign in user we have it. Now that's something we have the alias. Okay, now alias is nothing but it's like a either you can put your account ID. Okay, so here you can see that account ID. Okay, like basically just I have just put this URL and this thing filled automatically. Okay, I have set up some alias, but apart from the alias you can also set up like write your account ID simply, and just put your the username. So in my case I have kept the username as what, Amol, and I will put the password, and then I will finally click on the sign in. So that's how this user which we have created. Okay, now you can see for the same account, okay, 5901, for the same account. Here you can just note it out. For the same account we have created this user, and yeah, we are done. Okay, we're good. So now, but we have just provided only two permissions to this user. Okay, and in fact you can see in most of the places we will see that access denied for this user. You can see cost, usage, and everything that user cannot access because we just have provided two access. Okay, one is S3 bucket. So if I open the S3 bucket, okay, so yes, we can access the S3 buckets, and here you can see all the UI. if I search for any other service, okay, let's take example RDS. Okay, now this is a database service we have. If I just try to open this one, you guys can see that here on the dashboard I don't see anything. Okay, or if I just click on database, you can see that this user is not authorized to perform any action here. Okay, not even we cannot see that how many databases we have. So overall, this is what something you need to understand. As in permission wise, we can fine grain the permissions for any user, that what are the permission that user should have. If you just want to keep something only the read, okay, so those permissions you need to take it, and those permission that you with that permission your user should be able to access. So we have also provided easy to access to this user, so with that way we should be able to access the EC2 related things as well. And that's how you can create the your user, and you can allow. Now just remember that every single time when you guys will be working, so you should be using the IAM user. So in such case, okay, like just note down the root credentials at some place, and maybe for practice purpose this is a better approach, that you can create IAM user, provide the administrator access to that user, and then start using with that IAM user things. Okay, don't use the root credentials in your case. That is also a good option to do the things on the AWS console. So this is a way that you can create a user, and you can access it via any of the browser. So is this clear for you all? Any questions at this point you guys have?
Amul,
Yes.
while login, you said alias name. Uh, that can you once show it? Not alias name, just logging into the user.
So while login, there was one option that I had. It was showing me, or basically like, let's say if I open any of the new browser. So let's say if I type AWS console. In such case, here while login, we have this IAM user option, right? So if I click on that IAM user option, the very first thing it is going to ask you the account ID or account alias. Okay, now basically here you need to put your account ID or alias. So alias is nothing but I have set up something, this alias for this account, which is the admin hyphen shete hyphen v1. Okay, now why I did that is basically that like remembering this particular 12 digit number is a bit difficult for everyone, right? So either you can just type this thing, so like this way, and you can click on next, and then further it's gonna ask you the username and password, and then you can sign in. That's a one way. Setting up alias work like this way is on the IAM portal. On IAM dashboard, here at some place you have that option. Yes, here this is the place. Okay, account alias. So you can set up some alias for yourself. Okay, so you can just click here, and what alias you just wish to have, so that's something you can put it. Let's say you just want to say admin. Okay, so instead of writing this 12 digit thing, okay, you can just type. So whatever you wish to set up, you can just set it from here. In my case, I have set up this one, that is the admin shete v1. So I can copy that one, and with this way I can just fill up. Okay, or in fact, let's say here you also have that sign in URL. Like with this you don't have to write this one. Okay, that will get all defaultly, like by default it will get filled up, and you can just click on next. Okay,
This account ID is the root account ID, right, Amul?
account ID is same for all. Okay, whether it's a user, you're using IAM user, or account ID is account ID. So that's unique identity of this account.
Okay, but name and username and these are the user what we have created.
Correct.
Okay, Amul.
Yeah. So that's how we have created this user, and with this user, you guys should be able to access the things. Okay, so you can just it's all about the permissions, uh, and you give some admin access, and probably you should be able to access all the things. Okay, great. So that's one thing here we have done so far. And in the user section, okay, if I talk about the IAM. Okay, so in IAM also we don't have any access to do the things, but let me go back and show you why the root credentials again. Okay, because we haven't provided even the IAM service access to that user, so he won't be able to access anything. Okay, so on this root credentials again, I'll just go to the user section. So I just show you that the way how you can access, like how you can create one user, and with that user how you can access the browser. Okay, like console, how you can access the console is something we just discussed. Now, but here I was explaining you something called as the AWS CLI, and for this AWS CLI, we would like to configure the credentials. Okay, so probably from this particular laptop machine, okay, I just want to access the AWS CLI command, and in that case, how I can just get this access key and secret key. Let's talk about that. So whenever you have the user, you can just click on that user. Now inside the user, we have one option called as the security credential. Okay, here you can just check EC2 full and S3 full access we have for this user. You just have to click on the security credentials. Now inside that, if I scroll down, you can see here we have one access keys option. Okay, now this access key is the option with which we can create the credentials like access key and secret key, and this access key and secret key we can use it for your AWS CLI. Okay, you can just read here. Okay, so for these purposes, you can create the access key and secret key. Now let me do that. Here I'll click on the create access key. It's asking me to put the use case. Okay, so let's say I'm just like using the use case is CLI. Now, frankly speaking, this use case doesn't affect any way with our credentials. It's just one option we have. But let's say if you're choosing here other, okay, so that doesn't mean the your access key or secret key will get generated in some different way. Okay, it is just use case option. You just choose anything as per your choice. I'm just saying that CLI, so AWS CLI is something that for which we would like to use this credential. Finally, it's like I just tick mark that I understand what I'm doing, that I'm creating the access key. Okay, and then here I'll say next. Next thing, it's asking you to have a description, so you can provide the description. Okay, let's say this is the Amol's creds or something like that. Okay, provide some description, and okay, I'll say create access key, and here we go. Okay, so we are done with the creating the access key and secret key, and with this access key and secret key, we should be able to log in, or we should be able to provide access the things via the CLI way. Okay, so I'm here talking about the CLI way. Now at the various use cases, use operations, you guys have to use this AWS commands, and with the AWS command, you have to do the things. Okay, now on a day-to-day basis, probably you will be logging to the AWS console, and that's how you will be checking out the things. Okay, but let's say you have to create something remotely or through some third-party tool. Okay, in such case, AWS CLI is the way with which we configure the things. Okay, so you should be good with the AWS CLI. Okay, right now probably you might not be knowing much about, let's say, use cases on which you're using the AWS CLI. Okay, but in real-time scenarios, in a like especially setting up the CI/CD processes and all. Okay, in such case, AWS CLI is the way through which, with just a command, okay, with just a command, you can do anything inside your AWS account. Okay, so that's a capability it is having. Okay, so let me prove that thing to you. Okay, so we have created this Amul user for which this is the access key we have and secret key. So now on your laptop, once you're done with the installation of the AWS CLI tool, here you're gonna say AWS configure. Okay, here you're gonna say AWS configure, just press enter. Now here at this place you need to provide the access key, so let me just provide one and just press enter. And it's asking the secret key. Here I can just copy the secret key and I can provide. Now just note small thing that this access key and secret key you can just see once. Okay, if I refresh the screen, it will just vanish off. Okay, so whenever you create access key and secret key, so if you wish to keep those access key in your laptop, you can just click here on the download a CSV file. Basically it will get downloaded in the Excel format, and yeah, that's it. So once you refresh this page, you never see this secret key again. Okay, access key you can see it. Okay, so here I have copied the secret key, and here let me copy it one more time, and here I will paste it. Okay, so that's my secret key, and just press enter. Now you can choose your default region name if you wish to. Okay, it's up to you. So I have kept it here the AP South one, and I'll just press enter again and enter. Okay, so I'm done configuring the all the things, okay, with respect to your AWS configure command. And now I should be able to use the AWS the CLI commands. Okay, so if I just put the AWS S3 LS, okay, so with this command I should be able to list out the S3 buckets. Okay, with this particular command I should be able to list out the S3 bucket. So if I press enter, you guys can see that yes, I can list out the my all the my all S3 buckets. I can just list out, right? So that's how I can start using the CLI command on your machine. And this commands and everything, you need to search a little bit. Okay, so at initial it could be a little hectic for you to understand the commands, but over a period of time, if you just focus on this particular CLI commands, so you should be able to get those. And for that, basically you need to refer the AWS documentation. Okay, like what is command for what. And in fact just Google the things. Okay, so various articles also will show you how to use the things. Or in fact you can ask to AI tools such as ChatGPT or Gemini that you just want to create something, bucket or something like that. Okay, so let me show you any few more commands. Okay, let's say you guys just wish to create a bucket. Okay, you guys
Amal,
just wish to. Yes.
while using the IAM user also, if we use a S3 command, all the S3 buckets in the root user also getting displayed, not only with root user what I have created, but all the buckets that are there in the account will get displayed. Is it so?
Correct. So I have provided the S3 full permission. So what does it mean? That user should be able to access the all S3 buckets. So on this particular page, like here you see that Amol user should be able to access all the buckets.
Okay, depending on the permissions only, like here what we are able to access is getting depending.
Correct. So depending on permissions, that how many, like what permissions. So here that user have the S3 permission, and that is with the either the CLI way or the console way, you should be able to access that thing.
Okay, Aman. Okay.
Yeah. So right now here we were talking about the AWS S3 like commands. Okay, and you can just use the different commands here to actually do the thing. So here you can see that AWS S3 LS. Okay, that's one command we have. Now this is to just list out your buckets. But let's say you wish to create a bucket. Okay, so I just want to show you a demo that can we do the things with just CLI. So let's try to create a bucket. Okay, now how to create a bucket? So again, AWS command will start with AWS. Then after that we have to put the service name. Okay, and we have command called as a MB. That's a make bucket. Okay, MB, it's like a mkdir make directory. It's like MB make bucket. And what is the bucket name you would like to give? Okay, so you can specify what bucket name you wish to create, and you just like have to say this way s3 colon slash slash, and after that you can mention your bucket name. Let's say I wish to create a bucket which is the name. Okay, now name has to be unique in the world. Okay, so we are yet to learn the about s3 buckets, but you just have to put some name. Let's say I'm just saying test, or I do have the test bucket here. uh, okay, I'll say demo, or here I'll say AWS CLI demo test, and here I'll just put some number and just press enter. Okay, and you guys can see the make bucket operation is successful. So in that case, I have created a bucket with the CLI. Okay, I have created a bucket with the CLI from the laptop, and I haven't used the console in this case. Okay, so let's confirm that do we really have created a bucket. So if I just refresh this particular page, you guys can see just now we have created a bucket. Okay, you can see the creation date and everything, right? So that's how we can create a bucket, or do the things with the AWS CLI command. So AWS CLI is a really powerful tool you have, but of course you should be knowing the command. And to know the command, you have to Google it. You have to like search the things on internet. You can ask the things to ChatGPT, and by this way you will be taking the things, and with this way we automate the things. Okay, so while automating the stuff, AWS CLI is the way that we have to consider in a lot of different use cases. Okay, so that's how we have created here the S3 bucket. So is this understood to you all? Any questions so far you guys have?
Amol, one question. So
Mhm.
you gave the name to the bucket. So if we give a duplicate name, like any bucket name which is already existing, so will it throw any error that you have to choose some other name?
Yes, so let's say here in this case,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to create a test. Okay, now this is the only name I'm keeping. Okay,
Okay.
now most likely somebody must have created. Okay, now unique. When I say unique, unique is not just in my account. Okay, unique is
Yeah.
in like globally, right? So
Mm.
if I just press enter, so let's see, and here I get error. Okay, so you can see the bucket already exists. Okay,
Okay.
so this particular bucket is already exists, so it's going to throw an error also.
Okay. And one more question, Amol. So when we gave S3 access to the user, so it will so that user will automatically have access to all the buckets, right? We cannot control which bucket he can access and which bucket we cannot access.
Yes, we can do such thing. Okay, we
Okay.
can do such thing that let's say you don't want him to be allowing all the access. Okay, so that's the next thing we are going to actually discuss here.
Okay.
uh, yeah, yeah, so that's like how you can fine grain further. Okay, and in fact like that's something you should be you should have the understanding. Okay, now
Okay.
here in here, yeah, so I'll explain to you, okay, about that, like how to access particular particular bucket within the account. So for that purpose, we need to. So it's all about the permission, right? So I'll show you that one. But before that, let me go and talk about the role first, because while doing the role also we can do that thing. Okay. So I just want to show you while doing the creating the role. So there I would like to fine grain things. Okay. Now here just now we have learned what we have learned about the how to create IAM user, and then how we based on what permission we have given to that user, only that permission, with that user permission, that user will get created. Okay, now in this case, uh I just showed you both way. Okay, one is that console way. In real time, of course, you guys, you yourself will be a user. Okay, you never get the root credential, so you should have idea about it, like you are a IAM user, so you now know how to create IAM user and how to access it. Okay, so that's the one thing. Second way, we just understood the AWS CLI way, and with the CLI also we can do the things inside your machine, and you can open any of the terminal and you can put out the AWS commands, and of course for that AWS CLI has to be installed. So that's one thing here we have learned. Now I just want to teach you in some different way. Okay, we have to learn something called as a role. Okay, we have to learn something called as a role now. So till the time we are using or we are doing the things from your laptop. Okay, so in that case, of course, we need to create a user because laptop is not something that just be a part of my AWS network. So in that case, I have to configure the AWS IAM user. So when I have, okay, when I just wish to do the things from my laptop. Okay, so here I am having my laptop, and here I have the AWS account, and here let's say I have EC2 machine or S3 bucket that I wish to access. So in this case, I need to do this authentication via the user. Okay, in that case, I need to have a user. I just provide the user credentials to this laptop, and that's how I did configure thing. Okay, the next thing here I'm going to talk about something, the role. Okay, now role is a bit confusing. Okay, role is a bit confusing, and like a lot of people, okay, even the experienced people not have much clarity on this, like how the role works. So let me try to put it in a simple way first, so that will make you understand like how the role works. Okay, so from the IAM service, these are the two facilities we use a lot. Okay, one is the one is the users, and other is the role. Okay, so these are the two things we use a lot. Now in this case, the users we just learn now how to create user, how to access those things. Let's talk about the role now. Okay, let's talk about the role now. So here you see that I have already created something like a 25 roles. So over a period of time, a few of the roles got created automatically, and a few of the roles we create it for your use cases. Now let's assume one scenario here that I'm going to create one EC2 machine. Okay, I'm going to create one EC2 machine, and here I have created one S3 bucket. Okay, so in such case, let's say if I have to copy any of the object from the S3 bucket to on my EC2 machine, how I can do that? So that is what here we are going to learn. Okay, now here in this case, okay, like right now we have just done with this particular thing, that AWS CLI config. Like, can we copy anything from the S3 bucket now on your laptop? Is it possible to copy something from the S3? Like, we have provided this user as S3 full access, right? So he should be able to copy it. Now for just to have a command understanding, I will tell you like what's the command for that you have when you would like to copy the things from S3 bucket. Okay, so you can say AWS S3. Okay, that's a AWS S3 is a service name, and CP is the command. Okay, CP is the command, that is copy. Then further you need to just mention the source and destination. Now who is source? Is like, let's say we have to copy something from S3 bucket, so source is S3 bucket, right? So I will just go on S3 bucket here. I'll just go here, and here I have the S3 bucket. Now on this bucket I would like to copy something, so let me just see any of the things. I do have anything here. I just want to one file. Okay, great. So here I have something like called as test file. Okay, or I just have this index.html. Okay, so I would like to just copy this file. Okay, on my local machine. So I just want to copy this index.html file on my local machine, and how I can do that. So let's go and try to see that. So here on my laptop, I'm gonna copy, like this is a file I have selected, and just copy here, copy S3 URI. Okay, so just copy this is S3 URI, and just paste it here. Okay, you can see that S3 bucket name, and then your bucket name, and then slash index.html, right? So this is what the file you wish to copy. Then space. Okay, so that's my source. That's my source. Okay, now on this particular laptop, where you'd like to paste that? Okay, so you're copying something, but what's the destination you would like to have? So destination, let's say it's a it's a curl slash desktop. Okay, so on desktop, let's say under the repo folder, I would like to copy. Okay, now let me just confirm, like I have that particular folder on my desktop. So yes, repo folder is there, R is capital, right? So under this particular folder, I just want to the paste that particular file. So I can just press enter, and here you can see that I got the message that download. Okay, so under the repo folder, I should have this particular file. So let's confirm. So under the repo folder, if I confirm, where is that file? It was the index.html, right? So under the repo folder, I should get that one on desktop. Give me a second, guys. Okay, I'll go to that particular folder. Let's say cd curl. Oh, wait a second. Okay. I think I got the mistake here. Okay, so the thing is that here you see that I supposed to use this particular command on the your other terminal. That's a git bash. Okay, and why it won't work on this particular machine is basically this is the CMD terminal. Okay, I was just using all the commands by the CMD terminal, and in Linux, whenever we are accessing the folders, okay, so it's not this slash, okay, it's this slash, okay, but it's supposed to do that. I'm not sure why it just happened. Let me try with the same command with the git bash, because here the forwarded slash doesn't work. Okay, in case of Windows, it's a opposite. So let's say if I have to say desktop, so I say cd desktop and then inside repo, like that's how we go. Okay, that's how we go. But in case of, like, that's how we put. Okay, but in case of here the CMD, I just have to say it like this way, desktop, then I have to put, supposed to put this slash, okay, and not this slash. Okay, so this is the forwarded slash, and I should be supposed put the backward slash, and that's how we use in the desktop. Okay, like in CMD, so it's opposite. So in Linux, this is the way which we follow, and git bash does support for that. Okay, so let me copy this particular command one more time, not this one, this is the one, and yeah, let's try again. I got message that this particular file is been downloaded to dot slash. Yeah, here we go. Okay, you can see now. So that something is done, and in earlier case also the file got downloaded, but that got downloaded on this location. So that something doesn't exist. Okay, so this location must have created, and then here at this location, on this location, this file got downloaded. Okay, so that's something here you need to understand. So yes, here we're done with the downloading part. Okay, so try to use it more in most of the cases the git bash, because the Linux command doesn't support on the CLI. the normal CLI. Okay, so for Mac users, this issue shouldn't come at all. But for the Windows machine, this forward slash and backward slash is the problem. So if you just wish to use this command, so you just use, instead of this forward slash, use the backward slash on the CMD CLI. Okay, so and that should work. Okay, so that's something I just wanted to demonstrate, that how you can copy the file which we have it on the remote location that we have copied on your local machine. Okay, so on your local machine is something we have copied. So this is a user, like on from your laptop. Here we have configured the credentials, and from this cloud, we have copied the file on your laptop. So this is the operation we did it via the AWS CLI command. So is this understood to you all? Any questions, guys, here? So far, any questions, guys? No questions? Okay, great. So let's move and talk about the roles now. Okay, so I just like taught you this thing, whole thing, for just to understand or make you understand the role concept. So right now, let's say I'm doing the things from the user laptop. So in that case, I need to configure the credentials. Okay, but let's say I have an EC2 machine, and through which I just want to access the S3 bucket. So on this machine, I have terminated this one, but let me just launch the machine very quickly. In just few seconds, we will launch the machine. Okay, so let's say test role. That's the name I'm giving. Ubuntu is the operating system I'm considering. T2 micro is good. Key pair is the Linux demo 111. VP setting, I'm keeping everything as it is, and I'll say launch instance. So we are launching one new EC2 machine, and through which we have to do the same operation. Okay. So in that case, do we have any any of the other things that we can follow? Let's understand that. So here, this is what the machine which is in pending state. So let me take the public IP, and we will log into this machine. Okay. So I do have key in the my downloads folder. So I'll say sh-i. It's a Linux demo. Oh, I do have key in the downloads folder, right? So I have to go to downloads first. sh-i Linux demo 111. Ubuntu is the username @ the public IP. So with this way, we will log into this machine. And on this machine, let's say on this location, you have to do the same operation. Now you will ask me, okay, so you just know that credentials which we have copied, okay, like the AWS CLI credentials, right? So for that Amul user, so you can say AWS, just put the AWS configure command. Okay, just put the AWS configure command and just press enter. Okay, so AWS is not installed here, and let me do that again. Okay, so with this command, I should be able to install the AWS now. Okay, let me first of all say apt-get update. I'll just switch myself with the root user. Okay, sudo su hyphen. So here I'm gonna say apt-get update. And AWS CLI has to be already installed. So if it is not installed, then in that case, I supposed to install it. Okay, if I just check the AWS, it's not there. So I can say apt-get no AWS CLI. Okay, so there's no package with this name. It's like telling me try an error. So what is the procedure to install the AWS CLI? You can go on internet, search for AWS CLI installed, and here on this particular page, I should get the installation steps for all. So in my case, it's a Linux machine. So here I will just have to use these 3 commands. So to download package, this is the first command we have. Okay, we're done. Next thing is that I'm going to unzip that package, the one which we have downloaded. Okay, unzip is not installed here. Okay, so let me install unzip. So apt get install unzip. So we're done with the unzip installation, and finally here I'm gonna say unzip command. Okay, great. And finally here there's the last command we have to put, which is a sudo AWS install. So I'll take that command and then I'll paste it here. So we are done with the AWS CLI installation. Okay, great. So now AWS CLI installation is done on this machine, and if I check the AWS or any of the command, you can see that yes, we're able to access the AWS CLI commands. Now here you can just say the same way which we did it just now, that AWS configure command. Okay, you can I can just do it like this way, AWS configure command, just press enter. Now it's asking me to put the username, okay, that access key, secret key, and then region name, and then output. Okay, so that's something I can do, but there is problem. Okay, there is something problem we have, and what is that? So try to understand this, guys. Like here, this is the EC2 machine and not my local laptop. This is my EC2 machine, which is the which will be accessed by the so many people. So let's say whoever the people are there in my the company. So all my colleagues and everyone, okay, whoever belonging to this particular account. So all those people can see this particular account, which is this particular machine. They can see it. And if I use anything command with respect to AWS or anything, okay, so whichever the permissions I have, so with those permission that user should be able to access. So let's say just for example, see here AWS configure, I put the command, and for user credential, that is Amul, which we have created, those I have provided here. But this machine can be accessed by multiple people. So let's say we have other colleagues. Uh, let's say the Aditya is the other person, okay, who is colleague. Now what Aditya is also doing, Aditya also log in to the account, his own account. Okay, now in that case he can just see, okay, there's something, the test role machine we have. So he will log in with whatever the credential he is having, okay, the secret key, that he is also having that secret key, and with this SH key he also log into this machine. Now further, once he is done login, okay, further once he is done login, then he can, let's say, with he can see those credentials, okay, first of all. So if we want, okay, he can go to credentials and check, okay, at particular path we store the credentials. So he can check the credentials, plus let's say he wish to create any bucket, okay, and he just created it, okay, he just created it, but that bucket got created with my credentials, okay, with Amol credentials. Now that's something not a good process to handle, to handle the credentials like this way. So that's the reason I gave you example here. So try to understand that, AWS configure command, that in my case, when I was using my laptop, so that laptop will be accessed by only single person, that's me. So in that case, it's a AWS user that's supposed to configure, and with the AWS configured, only your laptop will be able to access the AWS things, okay, with the CLI way. Here, if you provide the credentials, your own credentials, so you have so many people working in your organization, so you are exposing your own credentials to all the people, okay, and that's not a good practice to do. Okay, that's not a good practice to do in the organization, and that's what we do in real time scenarios. Okay, so I hope you understood what I'm trying to say. Now then, what's the solution you have? Okay, what is the solution you have here? Yes, anyone wants to put
Yes,
any?
Amol.
Yes, Gurdeep.
This problem one more time. I did not.
Sorry, your voice got break. Like it's not coming.
Okay, is this better now?
Yes, it's good. Yeah.
Okay, so I was saying that can you explain this problem once again? I did not really get it.
Okay. Let me explain to you one more time. So try to understand
Yeah.
here that at start we have created one user, and with for that user we have created one access key and user key. Okay, like access key and secret key. My bad. Okay, we have created one access key and secret key. Now when it comes to my laptop, okay, on my laptop, so here we put this command. Okay, that is a AWS configure. Okay, this command we put, and when we put this command, so we get access key and secret key. It's basically as the credentials, and we provided those credentials. And by this way, once we are done with configuring credentials, okay, so anytime you go and you put this command AWS CLS or whatever the command you wish to put it, AWS CLI commands, you can put it, and that's how you should be able to do the things. Okay, either you wish to get the things or you wish to create the things. Okay, we have created a bucket also. So all of these operations we can do it. We can handle it via from your laptop with the CLI way. Now laptop is what? It's a personal thing. It is there with you, and only you will be able to handle the things with your credentials. Okay, now that's something the good thing. But now here we are talking about EC2 machine. Okay, now EC2 is what? EC2 is the server. Okay, EC2 is what? EC2 is a server, and this server is not just belong to you. Okay, this server will be used by so many people within your company. So let's say you have a team of 10 people. Okay, so all those 10 people have the access of this EC2 machine, and they can access it. Okay, they can access it. So the same thing, whatever you did here, you cannot do it here. Okay, like technically speaking, you can do it, but that's not the best practice to go with. So let's say here what I just said the same example, that here you had some file and you would like to copy the file on your EC2 machine. So in S3 bucket, you have one file and you would like to copy that file on the EC2 server. So how you can do that? Okay, how you can do that? So can you configure AWS CLI command? Like here AWS configure and then user credential, like can you put this credentials here? The answer is no.
No.
Okay, the answer is no.
Got
That's
it.
not a good practice. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Then what's the solution we have here? Okay, what is the solution here we have? So in this case, we have to learn something called as the roles. Okay, this is a place where the roles comes into the picture. So what is mean by role? Okay, what is mean by role? So role is nothing but that you can, like let's say you have one service. Okay, you have one service, and here in this case the same exactly same thing we have. We have one service called as S3 bucket, and we have one more service, that AWS service, that is the EC2 server. So both are belonging to the cloud, right? Both belongs to the cloud, both belongs to the same account. Then as such, if you think like we shouldn't require any credentials to take out the things, like say here I do have something, the S3 bucket. So from the S3 bucket, if I wish to have anything here, okay, I shouldn't have to look for any credentials. Okay, in that case we can just create something called as role. Now role is nothing but with the role also you can provide the permissions. Okay, with the role also you can provide the permissions, and here permissions in like in this case what we are referring with, basically you can just imagine that on S3 bucket you have something, okay, like S3 objects or anything you have it. So those things you would like to copy it here. So this machine wants to access this, right? This EC2 server wants to access this. So what you are going to do now is that you are going to create something called as role. Okay, you're going to create something called as a role, and this particular role, okay, this particular role, you are going to attach the permissions to the S3 bucket. So role is basically that you create a role and you attach the permissions to that role. Okay, here you need to attach the permissions. So the way we have attached the permission to the user, okay, like S3 full access or whatever it is, okay. So that with that way, you just simply have to, attach the permissions, and then here that permissions here you need to attach, and after that, this EC2 machine should be able to access your S3 bucket directly without any credentials. Okay, without any credential, you should be able to see it. Okay. Now let me prove it to you. Okay, first of all, that I don't have any access here on my EC2 machine. How I can prove that one? So here I'm already logged in on this machine, and we just have use the command. Okay, now that command has gone. Okay, let me do it with this way, or let me copy it. Okay, how much time it will take to type it. So AWS, the S3 CP, and what's your source? So source, let's say this index.html. So that's copy. I have copied S3 URI. I have pasted here. And then next day, where you would like to paste it. So let's say on the same place. Okay. So, or let's say, you can mention the place, or you can just say dot. Dot means wherever you are on this location, you just want to paste it. So you are already on the /home/ubuntu. Okay, so you're saying that just copy and paste here itself. Okay, and just press enter. Okay, so you can see that I got an error saying that unable to locate credentials. Okay, so I just proved to you guys that we don't have access. Now that's something, the solution that AWS configure, we cannot go it because that machine is shared with all the people. So next, what we have to do is we have to create the roles. Okay, this is the place we have to create the roles. So what you guys gonna do is you are going to create one role and you're gonna attach that role to this particular EC2 machine. So let's say how to do it. Okay, so I will go on the role section. Here I will click on the create role. Now while creating role, it's asking me to choose your trusted entity type. So for what you are creating the role, we are creating the role for one of the AWS service. Okay, so here which is already selected. So let's just scroll down. Sorry, just scroll down, and then under the use case, here you are going to mention what is that service is going to be. So it's a EC2 service. Okay, it's a EC2 service for which you wish to create the role. So in this case, we are wishing to create a role for EC2 service. Okay, next thing here, I'm gonna say next, and then this is the place where we need to attach the permissions. Okay, so I was talking here about something that is the S3 bucket, right? So time being, I'm just like going to give the the S3 full permission. Okay, so time being, I'm just like going to give the S3 full access for this one, and then I will tell you how to, you can fine grain, how you can cut that into full to the normal one. Okay, so right now just think about that. Here we are providing the S3 full access, and that's it. Okay, and I will say next here. It's asking me to provide some name, so let me provide some name. Okay, now I might be having something similar name previously created, so I would like to put something unique name for just identification. Okay, so you guys give something, the S3 bucket role for EC2, something like that. I will give something different name. Let's say I will give the S3 bucket role, and then along with that I'll just keep some number. Okay, so this is just for my identification purpose. You just keep anything as per your choice. So that's the role name we are giving, and finally here I will say create a role. Okay, so the role creation has to be done here, and if I check, it was something like S3 bucket role. So this is a bucket role. We are done with the creation. Okay, bucket role creation is done, and this is something we have created for EC2. And yeah, last activity we haven't used any time, right? So in fact, you can see I have one more similar role, but that was like 22 days ago I have created for something. But yes, this role we haven't used. Now we have to use that one. Okay, we have to use that one, and how we're going to use that? So role creation is something done. Okay, role creation is something done. Now we need to attach that role to your EC2 machine. Okay, we need to attach that role to your EC2 machine. So let's do that one. So here we have, this is the EC2 machine we have. So let's attach that one here. How we can do that? So you just have to go to EC2 instance, click that instance, and then under the actions, you get one option that attach the role. Okay, so under the security, if you go there, so you have this modify IAM role. Okay, you can click there, and like right now, let me show you one more thing. Right now, you don't have any role here. Okay, so whenever you attach a role, you should be able to see the role here. But right now we don't have anything. So let me add one here. Okay, so I'll go to security, click on modify IAM role, choose your IAM role. Okay, so you can just search for S3, and that's the one here we have created right now. So just select that one and say update IAM role. So here you have updated that IAM role, and now if I just check that instance, okay, you guys should be able to see that something the role, yeah, here we go. Okay, S3 bucket role. So we have attached the role. Okay, finally we have attached the role, and now here onwards, this particular machine should be able to access all the S3 things. Okay, like all the buckets, it should be able to access it. It just want to create a bucket, it should be able to create a bucket with the AWS command and everything. Okay, so right now we don't require any credentials as such. Okay, let me prove it to you. Okay, so on this machine, if I just say AWS S3 LS, okay, in earlier case I should have got any error, but you look at I'm not getting any error. Or in fact, while copying something from S3 bucket to this location, I was getting some error, unable to locate credential. Let me try with that command. Okay, so this is the command that I have. Let me press enter, and here we go. Okay, so just now we have successfully copied the index.html file. So on the same location, you can just check. So here I have said dot means on the same location. So we have successfully copied the file directly. So role is what basically that when one service, okay, one AWS service wants to access the other service, okay, when one AWS service wants to access the other service, in that case, you can create a role, you can provide necessary permissions to that role, and that's how you can you can tell AWS to access that thing directly, okay, without providing any credentials. So this is what the role is. Okay, so overall, what is my role? Role is nothing but it is providing the permissions without providing the credentials. Okay, so that's what the role is. And when one service wants to communicate with other one, okay, or one service wants to access other service, so in that case we go with creating the role. So is this understood to you guys?
So
Any
Amol,
question?
here,
Yes, please
yes,
go on.
yeah. So here, when you're saying that one service is trying to access the other service, so here EC2 is trying to access S3 bucket, and that's why.
Yes, here EC2 is one service, S3 is other service, and
Okay.
we are trying to access the S3 service with the AWS. So that's what the two services here we are trying to do. Yes. Okay.
Okay. So we are trying to access S3 bucket via EC2 service, right?
Yes, so here on the EC2,
Hmm.
okay,
Yeah.
on the EC2 we are trying to access the S3
Yeah.
object. Okay,
Okay.
we have copied that one. So both are
Okay.
the services, right?
Yes. Got it. And then we don't have to provide the key, right? Access key and the security key.
Yes, exactly. So here without providing the credentials,
Yeah.
we have copied the things, or we have accessed the we able to access the things. So that's how we are going to use the roles, and we use the role extensively in real time scenarios. Okay, like we are not much rely on the your user credentials until and unless there is some requirement we have, like in your laptop. Yes, you can go and do it. Okay, but when one service wants to access other service, so in all of those cases we just create a role and we do the things.
Okay. And using these role also we can control on what bucket one particular user can use.
Yes,
Like
so
one
that's
role.
something. Yeah,
Okay.
that's something, let me explain to you now.
Okay.
But before that, okay, any other questions, guys? Anyone has any questions with respect to what we just have done right now with respect to roles? So is this roles concept understood to you guys? Any questions? No questions, right? Okay, fine. So let me go further and talk about something, the permissions now. Okay, the right now you see that on this particular like in this case that we have attached something, the permission, which is the S3 permission. I mean the S3 full access that we attach. Okay, but let's say for this particular bucket, that I mean that for this particular the uh, IAM role. Okay, we just don't want to give the full one. Okay, so in the security section, okay, that's a That's the bucket we have. And let's say I just want to don't want to attach this role. Why? Because probably I just want to provide a little fine grain, the access. What I mean to say is that right now we have provided, like in previous case, we have provided the full permission, S3 full permission. Now S3 full permission, what does it mean? That all the bucket access that user gets. Okay, so right now, in this case, I was having the S3 bucket created here. Okay, and let's say here I was just like looking for to provide access for the trial bucket. But when I say S3 full permission means what? I'm providing all the access. Okay, all the S3 bucket access. So inside the buckets, I have so many buckets, right? So these many buckets I have. So in real time, I might have, let's say, the 500 buckets. So basically, I'm providing the access of 500 buckets. Okay, so this is not a good thing, right? This is not a good thing. So in real time scenarios, we also have to customize that policy. Okay, we have to customize that policy, that instead of using the full permission, we should be selecting that few of the fields that this is only that I just want to provide access. So how to do that? Okay, how to do that? So let's just talk about it. So if you have understood the magic, like where the magic belongs, so the magic belongs here on the permission level. Okay, so whenever you are selecting any of the bucket, so let's say this is a role you have right now, and if I just go inside the role, inside that role, you can just see here I have the S3 full access, and if I just open this particular policy, okay, you can see inside that I have the few of the things written. Okay, now that's how the policy look like. Okay, that's how the policy look like, and policy is always gets written in the JSON format. Now at initial days, I know this something is not going to be uh, very user friendly thing to understand, but let me try to explain you still that how you can fine grain this access. So here you see that we have something called as allow. Okay, so what basically here we are telling that effect allow. Okay, what we have to allow? We are allowing the S3 things. Okay, and here I have said the S3 star. Okay, here I have said what? Here I have said the S3 star means what? I'm allowing all the activities related to the S3 bucket. Okay, and resources. Resources means in that S3 we have the all the S3 buckets, right? So here I am again saying that S star means all the S3 bucket. So that's what here we are saying. In a resources section, we can mention that which all exactly buckets you would like to give the permission. In the action section, you see that S3 is what something we have. So S3 star means what? In S3 we have the various operations to do, like get object, put object. Get object means just copy the things from remote end to your place. Put object means that upload something from your machine to the remote machine. Okay, and there are various the permissions we have overall for S3, and those permissions also you can mention. Let's say get, you just mention the get object. Okay, S3, and here you mention instead of start you just mention the get object. So get object means what? You just be able to copy the things from remote end to your end. Okay, you want to list out the things. Okay, you said AWS S3 ls command, so that is just going to show you the S3 whatever the objects you have there on that path. So you can provide a list object. Okay, put object is basically you're copying something from your machine to the other machine. Okay, so we have so many options like that, but let's not go into that option. So right now what I'm saying is that we would like to create one permission in a such a way that we should be allowed to use this bucket. Okay, which was the trial or something, that bucket we had, right? So this is the one. So we should be able to access this particular bucket, but further we should not be allowing any other bucket. Okay, so only the trial bucket should be allowed, like test bucket, other test bucket, and everything. Okay, everything should be blocked. Only this bucket we have to allow. Okay, now how to do it? Okay, how to do it? So I can go and start typing directly and can make you tell you the answer, but but you guys have to understand how to write it. So from that perspective, just understand, like, how you can create this particular permission. Okay, so in this situation, you can take something help from the AWS documentation a little bit. We have something called as the policy generator. Okay, if you just Google that, policy generator AWS. Okay, so we have something called as a policy generator overall, and with that policy generator, with the help of that, you can create the policies, little bit with a in a shortcut, we can say. So what you're looking for here, maybe you're trying to create the IAM policy. Okay, you're trying to create IAM policy, and what you would like to do, you would like to allow. Okay, so allow, deny, you have two options. Now what service you are looking for to create, like for which object, so it's a S3 bucket. Okay, and then what are the actions you would like to go with. So if you just want to say all, so these are the actions you have for your S3 bucket. Okay, something create bucket, delete bucket, all of this, like you can just, again, in that also you can fine grain, you can choose it, what are the permission you would like to give to that bucket, and this many permission you have overall for that actions. Okay, action wise, so let me say here all the action. Okay, all actions means that star. Okay, so the star you see here. Okay, where is that? Okay, the star you see here, this is the star. Okay, star means that all the operations on the rest bucket, like if you're providing the access, so what all permission, list out, put out, delete, create. Okay, all this permission means that what here you're saying as star. Okay, the next thing here, the next thing in that, you have one resources. Okay, resource. Now resources means what, that within that bucket, which all buckets you would like to provide access. So you can provide it the access with the ARN of the bucket. Okay, now ARN is what? It is basically the Amazon resource name. Okay, so Amazon resource name with the Amazon resource name. So that's a unique identity for each and every resource we have in the AWS. So we can provide the ARN of your S3 bucket, and how you can go do that one. So just go to the S3 bucket. So you can see you can copy that one. Okay, you can copy, like you can just like click on that particular bucket, and here you get the option to copy ARN. So just copy ARN and provide that one here. Okay, so that's the one thing you are providing here. Okay, that's the one thing here you're providing. So you can see that this is the bucket which you are creating, and you're good. Okay, you're good. So now how to generate it? Looks good. Okay, just say add statement, and we're good. Okay, so that's the one thing we are doing here. Okay, that's the one thing we are doing now. Overall, let's say you have to do a multiple things. Okay, you have to do a multiple things that S3 action is something you're done with. Let's say you have to add one more bucket, or let's say you have to allow any other access. So you can just keep adding the things here, and you can click like add statement, and together also you can generate a policy. Like let's say one role, for one role permission you wish to do multiple things. Okay, right now you're just adding a single thing here, you're done with adding single thing, so just keep adding add statement, and that's how the cumulatively you can also create the policy. So right now we are just done with adding the permission for one thing, and finally I'm gonna say generate policy. So just click on generate policy, and here it has provided policy to me. So this is the statements are going to be, which are going to be for my bucket. Okay, and then you can also modify this one as per your choice. Okay, so it's not really every single time you have to come to this particular website and do the things. So over a period of time you can just modify the things by yourself to have more understanding about it. Okay, so we can do that thing. Okay, and then I'll show you how to do it. So right now you can see that we are configuring this thing, and you can, let's say you wish to provide to access to the two buckets. Okay, you can do that. Let me do a simple thing. Okay, let's copy this one, And here I'll do what? I'll just open the notepad, and here this is what the policy we have. Now just imagine that we would like to give the permission for a multiple buckets and not the single bucket. Okay, so we would like to give the permission for not a single bucket but to the multiple buckets. So in that case, what we can do is we can, let's say here I can put something like a square bracket, because that's how we mention the the list. So we are creating the list actually. So I'll just like create one. I have just created here the bracket. I have closed the things inside a bracket, and within this I can provide the multiple buckets, or let's say within that bucket also, if I have to do okay, let me show you what I'm trying to say is that this is the bucket I'm creating, or better ways to just like put here the enter, and yeah, that's how that's my first bucket name is. Okay, I just want to display something in a very good way. So probably what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say comma here, and what's your second bucket is. Okay, so just provide the second bucket. Let me take one random bucket again. Let's say this is a test bucket we have. So I'll copy the second bucket and I'll paste it here. Again, I'll put that thing in the quotes. So that's my second bucket I'm providing. Okay, again, within that also, if I just want to, provide access for all the activities. Okay, actually, when we are doing in a real-time scenarios, okay, so what we do is we provide the buckets plus within the bucket, let's say we are creating any subfolder. Okay, so we should be providing the access of the to the subfolder also, and for that purpose what we do is we just say bucket slash star. Okay, now why I'm providing the star? So what does it mean? That when we provide the star, so it is having the meaning that inside that bucket, whatever the objects you create, okay, inside that bucket, whatever the objects you create, so all that permission here we are allowing. Okay, and let me do it here for this bucket also, trial bucket also. So I'm gonna say here again the comma, and yep, here also I'll say the same star. Okay, and this thing I can keep it like this way. Okay, so this is the one, the custom policy which you have written. Now just remember, okay, this is the customization we are doing. Okay, all this customization is something we have to do it in all the real-time cases. So that's how you have generated the policy from this policy generated first. Okay, then once you have generated this policy, you can further again modify it as per your choice. Okay, and then here we have done a few of the modification. We are providing the two buckets access here. Okay, one is this one, and other is a test bucket, and inside that also we are providing this object access. Okay, great. So this is the bucket creation, we are done with it. Okay, and I can copy this. Okay, control A, control C, we have copied this particular permission. Now this custom policy, okay, we have to create first. Okay, so on this particular page, if I go and show you the show you the IAM policy, here you can check it. Where is that IAM? Okay, I close it. Okay, so let me open this. Yeah, here on this page. Okay, yeah, I was looking for this. So here, whenever you see this Amazon S3 full access, okay, so this particular permission is created by the AWS itself. Okay, you can see this sign. Okay, so this sign, like whenever you are creating the user on any of the things, and you get one option called as add permission. So within that add permission, you get this particular permission which is created by the AWS itself. Okay, and we have so many like that. Okay, if I click on the add permission, and I can show you the attached policy, you can see all of these permissions are already written by the AWS. There are in total 930. Okay, 913 permissions you have in total, and you can choose that which one you have to go with. But right now I'm looking to have a customized requirement that I'm just looking to provide a permission for one single bucket or two buckets. Okay, so in that case I have to create a permission by myself. Okay, I have to create this policy by myself, and where I can create, so I can just go to the IAM, and here I can see the policies option we have. Okay, this policies option we have. So these are the in total, the policy we have, which is created by AWS. Along with that, you can create your own policy. Okay, just click on create policy. Okay, And then here also actually like the other way, other than the policy generator, this is the other way that with which also you can specify the permission. So this is a visual way. Like there we have typed like what permission, but here also you can like choose the service. So you're looking for uh, to allow, deny, okay, all the things that whatever you do, here also you can do it. But let me keep it the very simple way. Just click on the JSON, and within the JSON here I'm just going to like delete and paste the whatever the stuff we have copied from there. Okay, so here with this way we can copy it. Okay, it's telling me that we have some error here.
One comma is missing, Amol. Second line at the
Oh
end.
yeah, correct. Thanks. Okay, so yes, this was the error. Like here I just missed the comma, so because that's first resource, that's the second resource, third resource, like that we have the four resources. Okay, thanks. So here we are done with the like pasting that one, and now I can go and finally say next. Now what is that policy name I would like to give? So I can say custom S3 policy or something like that. Okay, let's say custom S3 policy. Okay, I can provide description like for what purpose I have created. So I created this one to access trial bucket. Okay, something like that. And finally I can go and say the create policy. So we are done with the policy creation. So we have created the custom policy and we are not rely on the AWS. Okay, we are not rely on the AWS. So this is the AWS created one, and we have created your own policy. And now in this case, we are going to attach that custom policy to your role. So in like we are done with the policy creation. Now you can go to the role section. Let's say here we had created one role, that is the S3 role for EC2. Now for this role, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this particular thing. Okay, I'm going to remove this S3 full. Okay, instead of that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add permission and just say attach policy. Okay, here I'm going to search for that permission. So it was S3. Okay, and you can see here the custom S3 policy. Okay, now just look at the difference, guys. Okay, so wherever you have the AWS created policy, that will have this symbol. For your custom policy, you have this like symbol is not there. So just choose that one and say add permission. And finally, you have attached the custom policy here. In custom policy, you're just allowing the two bucket access and not full permission you're providing here. Great. So now I can go to my instance, and here I just need to attach that role. Okay, I remove that one. Okay, you can see here within the IAM role we have removed that one. So let me attach it, reassign that role. I'll go to the security section again, modify IAM role, and here I will look for the this is a role. Okay, so S3 bucket role, this is the role we have created for this bucket. I mean for this EC2. I'll say update IAM role, and here we go. Okay, so for this particular EC2 server, we have attached this role. And now if I go and check, okay, so let's say if I go to some different location, okay, let's say if I go to /root, okay, inside that you can say I'm on the /root, and I'll just use this command again, AWS S3CP. Okay, I'll just use this particular command. And now if I go and say it like this, AWS S3CP. So let's try to copy from the trial bucket, because we have provided trial bucket access, so I should be able to copy it. Okay, here we go. So I successfully able to copy the things from the trial bucket. Okay, but for any other buckets we have not provided access. So let's confirm. Let's try to take out the things from any other bucket. Okay, so let's say in image resize bucket. Okay, I have something image here. Okay, so that's something, the PNG image I have. I'll copy it, and I will try to copy it from the image size resize bucket. Okay, now this bucket access we haven't provided. Okay, let's try to copy that particular object to this EC2. So here I'll provide it and just press enter. Oh wait, how it is possible? S3 image resize bucket. One second, guys. Oh, one second. Like here we attach it, right? Still we have the S3 full access. Let me confirm. Did we save it? Oh, okay, my bad, guys. Okay, so I attach it to some different role actually. Okay, that's a mistake from my end, and that's the reason we successfully able to do the operation. The reason that here for my EC2 server, okay, for my EC2 server, it's like there is a naming confusion happen. I have the two policies with the same name, S3 S3, and that's the reason I got confused here. So it's a S3 bucket role for this particular, S3 bucket role. So this is the role we have attached, and for this role we need to attach that custom policy. So let me remove this one again, and I will attach the custom policy here. Again, here I will go and say custom S3 policy, and just say add permission. And finally here we have attached it. Okay, we have attached it, the custom policy, and let me try to do it one more time. Okay, so I'm gonna say I'll try to copy it. Okay, and in this case you can see that I'm getting an error, and for previous object, okay, I'll remove that index.html again, and I will try to copy it from the trial bucket. So I should be able to copy from the trial bucket. Okay, here we go. And when I'm trying to do it from the this image resize bucket, you can see I'm getting the fatal error, right? So that's how we can fine grain this policies access, and that's something the activity we do a lot in real time cases. Okay, guys, because see, you already have the permission written. Okay, like from AWS, you already have written the permission, a lot of permission, you already have it. But customization is a place where we have to think, and we have to give the your knowledge, or you have to provide your knowledge there, and with that knowledge you will be doing this customization. So customization is something where your actual requirement is. So over a period of time, you will come to know a lot of things about this, but see, you should know, understand, like whatever we have done today, and then how you can understand that by practicing it. Okay, so I would highly recommend you to watch today's recording, and learn the things that how we did it. Okay, so if you do it the things by yourself, probably you should get what we have learned everything. But of course, any of the question queries you guys have, let me know. Anything?
Amol, one query. Like when
Yes.
we were creating the roles, there was a field with session duration. So what does that means? Like, is this role is predefined to some time or how?
Okay, which particular field you are referring? Can you just tell me one more
Yeah,
time?
this one maximum session duration 1 hour above. Yeah.
Okay. Now, what this particular, the session duration is, I'll tell you. Okay, this is a little bit different. Okay, this is a little bit different, and I should say this is a little advanced too. Uh, from the role also we can create the credentials. Okay, now that's a reverse way actually. Okay, now that's too advanced to tell you right now at this point. But I'll try to explain to you. If it's possible to understand, please understand. Okay, so just assume that you have this role. Okay, we have this role, and from the out of the role also you can do the reverse way. That is, you can create a credentials. Okay, like from the role you can also do the reverse thing, that you can create a credentials. Now in few of the places it's not something always the role you can apply. Okay, let me explain to you. Let's suppose that you are doing the reverse way. Okay, now till the time from the start, what we have learned is, if it is something your laptop, you can configure your user credentials. And if it is something like a bucket to bucket, okay, or like you have something like a one service to other service, so in that case we go for a role. Okay, that's a too simplistic thing you need to understand first. Once we are done with that, okay, like once you have the understanding of this both, then we have something, the one more advanced concept called as assume role. Okay, we have one advanced concept called as assume role, or in fact you guys can just Google a bit about it. Okay, now I'm not covering that thing here, and reason the people will get like they will just get confused a lot. Okay, like even the 5 years of experience people don't have clear understanding about assume role, because that's really confusing. Okay, let me try to put it in a simple way. Simple thing: when you have your own laptop, you put your user credential. When you put the EC2 machine, okay, when your one service is trying to access the other thing, so in that case we have a role. Now what I'm trying to say, one more advanced concept like assume role concept. In that case, what happens is that let's say you have created a role. Okay, you have created a role. Now that role you need to attach it to your machine. Now can you access, like, can you attach that role to your machine? The answer is no, right? So in that case, what you do is we have something called as assume role concept. Okay, what we do is by assuming your role, okay, by assuming your role, you create the credentials. Okay, and those credentials, how much time duration they have is the 1 hour session. So out of this role, okay, from this role, if you are creating the credentials like access key and secret key, so that credentials will have the session duration as the 1 hour. So that's what this is session time you have it. Is it
Okay.
understood a little bit?
Yeah, no.
Okay,
Thanks.
yeah.
So
Any other?
Anmol, in real time, so what kind of request we will be getting for, like, how would be the request frequently we will be getting for creating these roles if someone is working, okay? So is it like always that we have to create roles of based on some requirements we will be creating the roles?
To be frankly speaking, yes, we have to work on the roles a lot. Okay, especially if you are working on infra side. Okay, what happens that in most of the cases that, as I mentioned earlier, that in fact, we don't go for providing the full permission access the way I was giving, the S3 full permission. That's not a best practice we consider while working. Okay, and especially the there we have something called as the infosec team. So those people put us in trouble that don't give that star, put the customization, in that case, sometimes your policy becomes like right now the policy which you just see that one, this is the policy we have. But let's say I have to like fine grain. So if you are creating in fact any policy for any developer or anyone, so in all of those cases we just have to keep updating the policy. Like it's just an activity that we have to do it. Somebody user will come and he will say that I want this access. So you have to go and you have to provide the access for him, for that group or permission. So like that, those activities you have to do it frequently. In the cases where you are creating the resources, okay, let's say you're creating the S3 bucket. Okay, so in S3 bucket also you can decide which all people can be accessed. Okay, so same thing, whatever you just did now, you can do the same thing there also. Probably I'll just tell you then when we will starting about the S3 bucket. So there you can also attach the permissions to that bucket. So yes, the right now whatever we did here, the permission related things, okay, that's something we have to do it. When you are considerably something, having a good experience, and in such cases, this customization and all the best practices is expected from you within the industry. Okay, so overall, yeah, I can tell you, but nowadays we have a trick. Okay, you don't have to worry. Everyone don't have to worry about it from the scratch. Let me tell you a few of the tricks. Okay, one thing I just tell you the simulator. Now that's the official thing. Okay, I should show that one. The policy generated what you see, that's not something third party tool. It's a AWS own tool to generate this policy. You can utilize that. Okay, and I would say that you guys should just go and have some hands-on on this tool. Of course, but apart from that, we have a chat GPT and the few of the other tools with which also you can generate a policy. Just tell them that I have this bucket, this bucket, I would like to provide this get object, put object, generate a policy. So that will generate a policy for you. But of course, you should be knowing these things also, because in customization and overall, you should have the understanding about this tool. Yeah. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, no, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, Jagrup, sorry for that. I was just traveling yesterday. Sorry for that. Today I'll just definitely provide you. Really sorry for that, Jagrup. Today I'll provide you. I'll reply to your mail. Okay, guys. So any of the other questions you have, queries, anything you want to ask, guys? Anything with respect to I am role, I am policy, I am user? No questions? Okay, fine then. We'll stop here for today. Have a good day, guys. Bye bye.
Thank you, Anmol. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Amol.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Bye.